Republicans love talking about education reform. It's the Democrats, it's the president, it's the defenders of the unions, the defenders of the status quo that don't want to talk about education reform because we as a nation are spending more money per child than any nation on the planet. And there's not a close second when you want to talk about funding K through 12. The fact of the matter is the system is broken. And it has been the Democratic establishment over the past generation that's been defending that broken status quo.
That is just ridiculous, Joe.
Oh, come on. You know, Howard Dean,
something like that.
Howard Dean, you can say
charter schools are being started all over this country, and they're being started by kids by young kids who probably voted for Barack Obama. Joe, that is the most ridiculous statement you've said that I've been on the show in the last 2 or 3 years.
You know what, Howard Dean, you can say all you want to say. The Democratic Party in Washington, D.C. has been the defender of teachers unions that for a generation have stood in the way of reform, just like they're doing right now in New York City.
Excuse me, I work for a charter school that's run by the American Federation of Teachers, Joe. Knock it off. This is a ridiculous conversation.
Howard, you can say this all you want. You know you're not telling the truth.
I am telling the truth. Teachers unions in East New York. I'll take you to this school. Maybe we should go to the school someday together, Joe.
I'm not talking
run
about
by the American Federation of Teachers. The last time I looked was a teachers union.
Yeah. And let me just say, we now know why they started a charter school, just like I knew when they opened it up, that it was so you could have that talking point. A generation of teachers unions standing in the way of real reform that Democrats want, that Republicans want, that independents want. The fact of the matter is the establishment Democratic Party in Washington, D.C. has been defending the status quo for years, and you know it. You know, Howard, actually, I've been fighting for education reform for the past 15 years since I was in Congress, and every time we tried to reform schools in Washington, D.C., in the Anacostia area, where the students were in the worst public schools in America, it was the Democratic Party on the House floor and on the Senate floor and in the White House that stood in the way. I do not need lectures from you on education reform.
You don't reform things, Joe. You do not
in Washington, D.C.
You do not reform things by attacking teachers. You do not reform things by starting by attacking teachers. No, you can't do that.
I know. I love teachers. In fact, I love teachers so much, you know what I want to do? I want to go along with all of these great reformers that want to pay great teachers more, because what